In my last video, I didn't really explain the Jim Lee Scott Williams inking style, so let's do a deep dive today. No team was hotter in the early 90s than Jim and Scott. I think a good way to see how good Scott Williams is to compare him to his prime student, Art Thibert, who took over inking X-Men for a couple of issues. At the time I probably didn't even notice, but I did feel that something was missing, that little special extra magic. So let's find out what that was and try to draw in that style. First, let's give all the types of inking a name using this masterpiece here. Classic feathering, done off a black shadow, like Jack Kirby and John Romita. Then curved hatching, so going along the dimension of the shape, could be up or down depending on the angle. Here a Barry Windsor Smith example. Then kind of a mix between the feather and hatching is the free feathering, so the lines are not attached to a shadow or outline. A great Gil Kane example here. Then the parallel drop shadows, also done for ages already, here like in Jack Kirby's Fingers. And of course, John Romita Jr. loves his parallel lines. Then the ultimate Jim Lee cross hatching, which was not new. Here's Barry Windsor Smith again with a nice example. Then some teardrop shapes. Rob Liefeld is a big fan too. And these last two became huge in the Image era. So basically the light bounces off of something and hits the shadow part. Here Gil Kane with a big counterlight in the face. You might have noticed those aren't the official names, so I call this one the Kiwi. I think George Perez was probably the influence here. So, looking at Art Thibert's side, it feels like he's doing less lines, but he does use all of them though. Teardrops, hatching, feathering, more teardrops, free feathering, hatching, kiwi, counterlight. But this here is, I feel, where I can catch Thibert. In these very wide drop shadows, easy to see here in this Betsy fan service. Scott Williams uses much less and thinner lines on the skin for the ladies. Cyclops is a good comparison to do as well. This one here is almost a perfect style match. Chest, biceps, pants. Oh, spot on, my Padawan. Powerful inker this is. This one here has less black and it kind of feels flatter in comparison. But this group shot is interesting. Pretty sure Thibert was using this as a reference because it's very similar parallel lines here, but in Thibert's it's way more controlled, and in Scott's it's loose but accurate somehow. Easy to see here as well. Gotta love that Scott Williams background rubble, how it fades away and dropping just those few shadows. Thibert is good at it, but I feel he's too close to the pencils maybe. Super clean, like how the lines meet the characters. Here Scott does a wide drop shadow, but it's very loose and it works even though the lines kind of cross the leg. So maybe that's it. Like Thibert is very careful and calculated, kind of like that cliche where a young person tries to do something perfect, but the more experienced pro just lets it flow. Like when Johnny Cash did his acoustic version of the Nine Inch Nails song Hurt. Mic drop. Okay, let's try it and eat some humble pie. First study the rubble a bit more. So even the stones have kiwis and drop shadows. Some fungus, teardrops, George Perez style metal shine, and Mike Mignola smoke where the stones peek through. Okay, what to draw? Rubble, of course, with somebody crawling? No. Walking? No. Power pose. Yep. Hope I look like this when I'm 60 like Magneto. inking time. I finished the whole drawing in Photoshop, but I wasn't satisfied, so I switched and redid it in Clip Studio Paint using my Photoshop inks as pencils. Clip Studio just does a better job at creating that ink line, especially the ends, so sharp. And if you flick your Wacom pen up, it kind of drops a long, smooth fade out, which I'm really liking for this style. Of course, all the controls and the shortcuts are different, so a little bit annoying, this transition period. And for some reason, the default is not that you can use the move tool diagonally, so only horizontal and vertical. There must be a setting for that, I guess, but yeah. Anyway, finished in color, but I kind of like it in black and white better. Yeah, good practice again. I'm really liking that rubble, so definitely gonna keep practicing those kiwi stones. And good for hiding feet, of course. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and catch you next time for some more retro styles.